welcome to Conquering Mount Scrapmore with Brenda. I'm Brenda, and we're here today with a block I designed, and I took a lot of time learning that EQ8, and this is the first one I've been able to do on EQ8, and it's called Trio of Stars. Now there's two PDFs in the show notes below. One is for a 6-inch finish and one is for a 12-inch finish. So they're really fun to come together, and it looks complex, but it's not, because there's all sorts of fun little cheats you can do with this one. But before we get into all of this sewing and all this stuff, let's do our shout out. Nancy with Simply Quilting with Nancy Saunders is our shout out today. Now she doesn't know this is coming, so it's a surprise. So go over there. She's part of our community in the Facebook group, and she's always saying such lovely things to me on my YouTube channel. So this, you gotta, guys, go give her some love and support. She is doing some wonderful blocks and everything. Like, she's working really hard. So if you like what you see over there, hit that subscribe button and let her know that I sent you over there. Now, the other thing you're going to find in there, besides her YouTube channel, because it's going to be in there, is going to be our Zoom sew date. Now, our Zoom sew date is once a month. Usually it's the first Saturday of the month. We'll put more dates in there as we know what's happening with our plans for the summer and camping with our grandkids. But those are so much fun, and people come from all over. Like Europe, the UK, of course, like, Canada, US, South America. We've had a couple ladies from South America, Australia, New Zealand, Indonesia. We've had a blast, and it's always so much fun. It's from 9 p.m. or 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and it's just a great fun day. I get a lot done those days. Now, if you're there on that sew date and you don't have anything to quilt with you because you want to work on your knitting or your cross stitch or whatever, bring it. It's fine. Just come and hang out and share what you're doing. It's all good. The other thing you're going to have in that show notes below, or the description box, is our Facebook group. We are having so much fun in there. Of course, we're doing the typical things like posting pictures and asking questions and all this. But there's the community chats you can join. There's a community chat on finding free patterns. There's a community chat on how to organize your scraps. There's different community chats for fabric exchanges, because we're doing it by country, trying to keep the cost of postage down, right? And those, depending on what country you're in, they are really lots of fun, and you end up with so much beautiful variety. And of course, they tell you what you have to send and all the rest of it. It's all good. It's all good. My favorite is been the recipes. I'm enjoying that community chat very much. But I love the virtual sewing room. It is so much fun to go in there and hang out. You never know who you're going to meet or who you're going to talk to. And it's always been so much fun. So check that one out. Now, I still speak for free to quilt gals and quilting groups, right? I do it over Zoom. I have a PowerPoint presentation. My PowerPoint presentation talks about designs of elements of design. It talks about making scrappy quilts, and it talks about donating to charities. I mean, that's what this is about, right? I mean, I'm doing stuff for free. I've given away all my quilts to my friends and family, and and now I'm making quilts for charity. So it's a lot of fun, and we're having a great time in there, and I get to stay for show and tell sometimes. It's wonderful. So lastly, I'm in a collaboration with Future Cat from New Zealand, Kelly from Kelly's Quilts and Cruises from British Columbia, Canada, and Michelle from Bits and Pieces, and she currently is based in Australia. Those blocks are just awesome. You guys have got to jump in on this. Now, the date it's going to start is about early summer, right? Like June or July. We haven't nailed down the date, but it's going to be absolutely fantastic when we get going. And there's so much fun in those blocks. Oh, it's just great. So anyways, we're doing it round robin style, right? So you make a block, and then there's one round, and then another round, and then you make another block, and then there's 2 rounds, right? So the theme is community, and we're just having fun with this. So it's going to be just a blast. I am so thrilled to be working those 3 other creative and talented quilters. It's amazing. So come on in. Let's get to the sewing of Trio of Stars. Okay, this is the 6.5-inch unfinished block for Trio of Stars. Now, this one prints on 1 page, right? When you do the 12, it prints on 4 pages, right? Like 4 pages. And there's a couple of things I need you guys to think about when you're printing them. When you're printing the 12, I'm kind of laid all this stuff out already, because when you're printing the 12, we have 2 pieces here you have to tape together. Well, make sure this inside edge from this point to this point measures 12 inches. Then you've got the right scale and everything's working out for you. Because when you're taping, sometimes it's, you make it too wide or too big or whatever, and that's going to throw everything out for you. So we've got a lot of little scraps in black. So we're just going to have some fun with this. Now, tape is your friend. It's, if something goes wrong, you have to unpick something, you're probably going to have to tape it back together. So that's something you keep handy. My new stitch ripper or tracing wheel, the old one broke again, and my husband has not had a chance to fix it yet. But this is a fully metal one, so hopefully this metal and wood. So hopefully this one will last longer, and I'll get the other one back in use again. Thank God I had a second one. Now I've scored all the pieces so you can see what's going on, where everything lines up. So what I've done is basically I've got 1.5-ish inch, 2 3/4, and a 2.5. Like, I've got some bits and bobs, and I have a horde of triangles that I should probably use up, but I don't want to use up things with with writing on them. So I want to use just the basic black ones. So I'm going to be picking through these bags, trying to get some fun, bits for this, and use up all my little crumbs here. So let's get that in there. So let's start. We just grabbed one. Now, what I have done, I have marked yellow, and they're all the same yellow centers for mine. Red, and then if it's a background, it's black, right? So you can mark these down, so you can do several of these at once, and it does help, speed along your piecing. So what I'm going to do, the first thing I'm going to do is C1 and 2. So C1 goes up like this, red R2, or what I said, C2, C1 and C2. Those two go together, so I want to make sure I have a good 1/4 inch, have good coverage. Yes, I do. And now we're changing the foot of our sewing machine, because what's one of my shows without you watching me take a walking foot off or something else? Oops. Okay, let's get this out of the way. There. Okay, so I'm just going to put the vintage foot on. And this is a slant shank vintage foot. It's the original foot that comes with the machine, the 301A. So it's got a big toe and a little toe, and it's got some reasonably good visibility in there when you're putting this all together. So I kind of like it for foundation paper piecing. So let's just run this through. See, yep, we are good. So now, there's some people that say they use a light or a window box or a light box or whatever, and you can do whatever makes you happy and what makes it work for you. This all works. Okay, so let's start. Okay, so that one, none of these have big pieces, right? None of these are lots of piecing. It's all little piecing. So, I mean, it does go pretty fast, right? Now, this one, E1, E2, E3, E4, E5. Now, I marked it here in red as to what it needs to go, but I think the red should go on first. But I couldn't get EQ8 to do that for me, so I just kind of, after a while, I gave up. I was like, oh, Lord have mercy on me. So I'm just going to take a bigger piece here. Oops, I'm going to take, bigger piece here. I'm going to cut a square off. So I have squares, okay, for both sides. There. I'm just going to cut it like that. Okay. Get a little bit bigger square going on here. So 2, so I need my square to go like that. like that, but I need it to flip like this for now, because then it will flip over correctly. So now you can sit there and you can kind of play around with this, or you can cut the red one. It's up to you. I think I've got enough coverage and I'm pretty good. I'll probably just go from point to point. When you do enough paper piecing, you get used to all the weird angles, right? So that's something too to keep in mind. Now, H1, H2, H3. I mean, I probably should be putting these in order, but I'm going to put H2 down first. I have it stick out of both sides, and yeah, I'm going to drop a little pin in there just to see. Now, I just ran that one through without cutting. If I wanted to put H1 in here, I could put H1 in here very quickly just by doing this, you know. And I'm going to fat end here, skinny end here. And of course you can kind of see what's going on, and then you just go from point to point. Yeah. Next one. What does this look like? Okay, this is B4, B1 and B4. So we want to put, see it says B1, B2, B3, B4. Like, well, I would put these two together first, right? So I'm going to put the yellow down first, because it's the same thing, right? It's the same colors. Oh, I should probably go the other way, go the other way, go the other way. B1, here we go. So I'm just gonna go like that. Okay. Okay, now this, let's see what happens here with this. Okay, so D1, D2, D3, so it's got, okay, I'm going to put the D down, and I'm going to put a little pin in so it stays in place. And then I'm going to take a thinner piece, and a thin long piece, longer piece, just like that. And I'm going to put it down for it to be sewn. There we go. And I want the outer edge to have good coverage. So what this is going to do, hang on. I've got a funny weird little thing going on here. So D3, you want like that. Because then what happens is it's going to fold up the right way. So you want to tip it like that. Right? Make sure you have good coverage, right? You can kind of see what's going on with this a bit. Or maybe I need a bigger piece. Maybe I do need a bigger piece. Okay, we'll just take another bigger piece. It's all scrap, so it's all good. Okay, so D3. Now, when you're working with an odd angle like this, you could either fake it and do extra lines by going D1, D2, D3, D4, D5. I mean, it works, because then this one becomes, you just renumber them. Now, I'm going to try and make this work, and we'll see if I'm successful. So let's just try here. And there we go. Now we're just going to hold it there and push through. Okay. So, now you can play around. I just had a heck of a time trying to get all of this stuff to line up. I really did. I decided sometimes it's not worth the arguing. And it's not doing it the way I would sew it, right? So, it's kind of like, you can work it, make it work, but it's not the way I would sew it. So it's kind of like, okay. Oops, get another pin out of the way. Okay, so I would go G1, G2, G3. I would do this one first just to anchor my piece. So I'm going to sew it down in here and then pin it in place, because that's always a happy thing to do. And then this is going to go like this. So you make sure you kind of visualize that G, the line in between, and you can see the line there quite well. So you just pop it through. There we go. And this one, we've almost sewn all the, okay, so A1, A2, A3, so here we go. We got another long one here. I'm just going to put the pink in place. I'm just going to pin it in place until we get it on both sides. Oh, that was a little short. Why is that a little short? There we go. Okay. There we go. It's a little wobbly too. Just a sec here. Why am I wobbling? There. Okay. Why is it so wobbly? There. It's good. That's good now. Okay. So A3. Again, you want to get a, you know, it's a fairly wide piece you're cutting here for A3. Because you're going to go this way. And you want to turn your piece. Now, if you really wanted to take all that time and line everything up just so, you would go like this. You'd press it over like so. And you don't have to. And then cut your 1/4 inch. A rough 1/4 inch. Right? And then you would put this down. And you would try and follow that line. Right? So, because when you want this, you're going to sew it like this, but when it opens up, it's going to be like this. So you want this to follow that line. So you're just going to like give it kind of a little trim. Not too rough, not too crazy, not too anything. And you're just going to pin it like that. And that should give you the right direction for your angle. Okay, hold in place. There we go. There. Now. Okay. So let's go to the next piece that we're working on here. So I like, now this is a little thick, but it'll work. And I've got good coverage all the way up. So I'm going to put my next long red piece in because I can. Now this is going to have, I have lots of coverage there. I don't have to worry about it. And that's always a good thing. Have lots of coverage. Okay. All right. Pick it up. Run it through. Okay. Now, a moment of truth. I'm going to trim this a little bit because we don't need this bit. Right? We don't need it. It's all good. Now I've got lots of coverage on that piece, A2. So I have a choice. I can either do E1 or E4 because that's the only colors that are left. I'm going to cut the other side too and make that happen. And somehow I lost my little piece. Oh dear. Oh well. That's okay. Now I'm starting to trim, right? Because I don't want a bunch of bulk. And this stuff is perfect for, speaking of dog beds, what has happened is I have been informed that they don't want stuff like this for dog beds anymore. They prefer not to have anything that is going to bunch up and all the rest of it. So that's something when you're keeping your scraps and your bits, they don't want dog beds. So you can use it for stuffing for other things, but just not for pet beds. Okay, here we go. Now you just keep running around here. Now this has a pin. Now I'm going to trim off this bit. And you only trim to the 1/4 inch. That's it. That's all you have to do. Okay, now you flip that up, and again, you've got coverage in all directions. Perfect. Now you're going to take this and pull this back and trim this. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so they don't want stuff for that's been salvaged from sewing projects. They don't want that kind of thing now in their dog beds. So, I'm going to have to find something else to do with that. Now, I am going to change the angle of this to make it a little more suitable for my purposes. And I think that's about it. Yeah, it is. Okay. So there we go with that. I'm going to flip that over like so. Okay. There we go. Now I'm going to put the other piece of color on here just because I can. Okay, here we go. There. It looks funny with all these pieces. You're wondering, oh my goodness, how is this going to manage? Well, surprisingly, it works. Surprisingly, this all works. It doesn't look like it's all going to work, but it does. Okay, get the pin out of that. Yes, I have good coverage. Yes, I do. Yes, okay. So now, I want a bit big. Oh, okay, I want a bit bigger piece for the other side. And that angle is way too sharp, but oh. Okay, we'll just get it like this. This. 1/4 inch. You can kind of trace, eyeball what angle you need. Now this is way too big, but the angle is wrong. So you want to trim some of this angle off. Can't remember what angles I was using, but I was having fun with this. So this is what we're going to do now. Okay, and okay, there we go. Hold it. There we go. Hold it there to knot it. Okay. Now I have good coverage. I am just going to, now this is where we start adding in the black on this part. So I'm going to do one side and then the other. These pieces actually ended up pretty symmetrical. You know, so you could, if you don't want to handle the numbering, you know, you don't have to follow the numbering exactly. You could, how you would piece it. But this, like I say, I'm going to need something long and narrow. I'm going to take this and I cut this just like so. Oops. Yeah, it surprised me when I was told that about the dog beds. They don't want them anymore because they bunch up and they carry diseases and, you know, all sorts of horrible things. So you want to try and do something nice for these pets and not have them get sick. So that's kind of a sad thing, actually. Okay, now I'm going to be a little generous with some of this because you can. You might as well. There. So I might have to start making more pillows or stools or something. Making a commitment to a no-waste studio is pretty cool. You know, but there's a lot of work to it. Okay, here's another one. Okay, got good coverage. Yes, I do. Trim off that excess here, just with a pair of scissors. Nobody sees the back of this, so you don't have to, you know, always cut with your 1/4 inch. That's something people forget. And then I'm going to take my pin out so I don't get stabbed. Okay. And because this is such a weird shape, I'm just going to trim that right so I can see the shape. There we go. Okay. I think this would be a great project for, you know, somebody who's just, not just starting. You have to have some expertise here to be able to do this one. There. just a bit bigger. Now, did you see what I did there? I kind of laid this out, and then I gave a 1/2 inch, a good serious 1/2 inch, and I trimmed it at the same angle this piece is, and that's a cheat. That's a beautiful cheat to know, because that's one that'll save you hours of trying to figure out which direction this goes. And I'll just show it to you again before we sew it. So what I'm going to do is this. I laid it out, and I know I have coverage, and then I pulled back like 1/2 inch, and then I trimmed, giving this a full 1/2 inch, right? So that, like I say, I've got enough coverage now. I don't have to worry about, oh, am I going to be short? Am I going to be over? You know, like how bad is this? So I don't have to worry about any of that, because I just sew it now. And that's the beauty of foundation paper piecing, is you can do a lot of really complex blocks and not have issues, right? So here we go. This one was the same way. There we go. Just like that. And now we're going to go on the other side, except I am going to trim this. I'm going to show you that sheet one more time, because you can use that sheet for all sorts of weird angles. Okay. My cameraman is looking concerned. Well, okay, so here we go. I've got 1/2 inch over, and I'm just going to clip this just like so. Now, I'm going to take this, and I'm going to make sure I have a good 1/2 inch over. There. So now, when I sew it this way, it's going to all come together very quickly. So, this out of the way. And hold it so that it knots on itself. Okay. All right. So I think you guys have kind of figured this out, what we're doing. So if I'm going to, now I'm just going to go through here, and we're just going to do like the long ones. So with a long one, you risk wobbling, right? So what happens is we're going to pin it on this side so it doesn't wobble, right? Because here and here is sewn, or here is sewn, and we're pinned so it's all supported. So a lot of people have problems when they do those long narrow seams, and this is why, is because it wobbles. Your fabric will wobble. So okay, so now I'm just trimming off this long narrow piece. Okay, there we go. And there's the long narrow piece. It's still pinned, but I'm going to put this down to make sure I have good coverage. There we go. There. Okay. So we'll move all of that out of the way, and there. Okay, so let's see where we are here. Okay, there we go. So now I just have a little black piece square to put here, and I'm just going to move this like so. Okay, I think we're running long. I'm hoping we don't run too long, but I think we're running long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break here and I'll come back with a finished project. As you can see how fast this is coming together, right? And you're working with several different pieces. Like this one here, for instance, is finished. This right here. So all I have to do now is do a victory lap or stay stitching around, and I'm done, right? So what we'll do is we'll cut this here, and we'll just keep on putting this together, and I'll show you how to do all the trimming. Okay, so I'm just going to trim one here. Now what I'm doing is I'm lining up that 1/4 inch on where we're going to sew, not the seam allowance. And I'm just quickly giving it a trim. Now on this side, on this H block, you don't have that other line because it was too close to the, I don't have it. But because I'm trimming from my line that I'm actually going to sew, I don't have to worry about it. So I'm just going to quickly finish this and we'll lay it all out. Sorry these go so long sometimes. But this is one that you can do quite a few pieces at once. You need to do quite a few blocks at once, you know, because if you've got them marked out and they're all black, well, as soon as you put the color on, then you go, right? So let's put this all together now that it's just, you know, one very large confused mess. Okay. Now, let's start with the biggest pieces first. We're going to go this way, and this way, and this way. So these two go together like that. And then we start to build the pink star. Okay, the pink star goes like this, and like this, and like this. Oops, there we go, the pink star, and there. So that's how it's all going to go together. Now, right now, it doesn't look like it's going to do that, right? So let's sew these together the way I would sew them together. And I know it's not A, B, you know, A plus B. No, that's not what happened. Because I could, whatever I tried to do that, yeah, EQA just wouldn't let me do this. So I'm just going to move this out of the way. There we go. So I'm going to sew all this little stuff together first, right? Because that makes sense. And because it's all paper pieced, you really don't even have to get into where all of this stuff is going to lie, right? So we got a good 1/4 inch, and we just want to sew. Now you can pin this if you'd like. I'm not going to worry about it. It's a star. It's a fun piece. It's going to be a fun piece. Okay, so this goes with this. Now I'm going to push this way. Now this doesn't look like I'm just going to square off, but that is within the seam allowance, so that's good. So I'm just going to push this and this together. I'm lining it all up, taking my time, lining it up, getting it under the needle. Okay. Okay, there we go. Now, I'm going to open this up just like so. I'm going to press this way. Let me press away from the bulk. There we go. Now, I'm going to do these two and these two. Okay. So now, I was lining this all up. There we go. Okay. And these two. This one was kind of fun to draw. I was playing around with it and playing around with it. I figured, no, just draw it. Just draw it. Go have fun with it. Go have fun making it. Don't get all crazy. And when you are putting both these longer pieces together, make sure the inside where you sew, not the seam allowance line, the inside line measures 12 inches. Because you want this to measure at 12 inches finished. 12.5 inches unfinished, right? Okay. Well, let's get this. Now, we're going to open this up and just press away there. So now we're going to put this one down, and we want to sew from this edge out. Here we go. Now, take your time over the big pieces, the bumpy area. There we go. Okay. There we go. Nice big piece. Nice big piece there. And we'll put our plug together. And I say some people, they only want to work on one at a time, which is fine. You know, that is just fine to do. There we go. There. Now we're going to put these two pieces together. And I had to do a little poverty piecing there because I didn't quite make the entire seam allowance, but it's going to work. I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it. It's going to work. There we go. Okay, line these bottom up. There we go. Okay, now we take this off. Perfect, perfect. And all I've done so far is finger press. That's it. That's what we've got so far. So there. Now I'm going to line this edge up so I get a good square, neat fit. And then I'm going to line this edge up where all that joining and piecing was. Okay. And which way is that seam going? That seam's going that way. And black too hides a multitude of things. It's a nice backing for this, right? In case you're, you know, you're a little wobbly or whatever, it'll work. It will work. There we go. Yeah. So this is what the block looks like. Let's get some. I haven't pressed it. I haven't done anything to it to, you know, make it flat. But this is where this is going to go out like this. Oh, I've got this going the wrong way. There we go. So these are going to go out the best they can to reduce, just to reduce your bulk. Right? So you see how this all goes together. Okay, let's get to our ta-da moment. So here it is. This is Trio of Stars. I decided to go with a black background because it would give more punch, and I just had a lot of fun putting this together. Because of the long narrow bits, once you know how to pin them in place so they don't wobble and, you know, go all over the place, once you know how to do that, then it's easier to put the long narrow black strips on. But anything where you're going to have a long seam, like this one right here, or these, you know, any of them, like even these ones here, you know, pin the fabric in place that is already sewn on, and then pin the fabric that you want to sew on. And that way you're not having a distortion happen, right? Because that sometimes can be very aggravating while you're stitching. Now, like I say, this one did come together. Everything, all the points match up. So I didn't need any pinning. I didn't need anything going on with this very special. And it came together really quickly. Okay, so sometimes you don't have to follow the numbers, but unlike you saw how I put this all together, it was kind of like different than the traditional. But I'm still learning how to use EQ8, and it wouldn't let me go any other way, so. Anyways, you have an absolute lovely week ahead, and I hope things are going great for you and that you're staying well and healthy. Okay, until we meet again, all right, bye! My husband and I would love to thank you for watching our video and being so supportive of our channel. This has been just such an amazing journey we're on here on YouTube. And we wouldn't have been able to do it without you. So our thanks, truly our thanks for you. If there's anything you need, don't be afraid to contact me either through the Facebook book or through email. I'm trying to do as many viewer request videos as possible. And if I don't do it, you need to remind me, okay? So that's not a problem. But Yes, it's been just absolutely amazing. Make sure you tell your gills I speak for free. We have a Facebook group. We do Zoom sew dates, and we give out nothing but free patterns. So I hope that you have an absolutely joyful year ahead, and your sewing room, everything is going for you, and life is great. Okay, you take care until we see each other again. Okay, bye.